Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 72 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. To catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice, listed in the description below. I'm your host, GM, and overseer of Podcast of Five Rings, Obsidian, joined tonight by the wall that will not fall, Tetsuo.
Hey.
And the resident wildcard, Mao.
Yo.
It's the 2019 editions of us.
Is it though?
Meta is sadly sick. He's not starting off 2019 well, apparently. He's having to reboot. 2018 was too rough for the Dark Fortune Duelist. So, I just got done with 10 days off work and had to go back, and it's been miserable. How have your guys' breaks been?
I mean, I didn't get much of a break. From work, at least.
Yeah. I'm sure you got, like, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
Just the days. Like,
really?
I did a bunch of half days.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
But it all went well. I got plenty of new goodies to play with. I got and new video games that I haven't really touched.
The backlog grows.
Yep, I haven't really been doing much in like the last week or so, just kind of chilling.
Yeah.
Like so yeah, it does grow.
What about you, Tits?
Yeah, we just had, as he said, the days off, the days of off, but I took the days beforehand as well, just because going into work on a Monday, taking a Tuesday off, and then going back into work on a Wednesday just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had family over, ate lots of food.
Minimal drama, I would hope.
Minimal drama for once. Like, it was kind of surprising. I was really happy, but then again, so my kid brother has a little girl who this is her first, like, I think her first Christmas that she's really gonna remember.
Yeah,
so she was kind of the star of the show. So everybody was focused on her. So,
nice.
But yeah, we got a couple board games. My Gundam backlog has grown. That maybe not video game backlog as much, but
yeah, mine too.
Models.
Well, you guys have corrupted me into this horrible, foul, this foul hobby of building models. Because,
horrible, foul. Now, is that the right way to talk about plastic crap?
Now I have the Lancelot Conquista sitting on my shelf. And I've ordered one of the Veritech fighters from Macross Frontier that transforms between the three phases. So that'll I'd have to make sure to temper my spending on this, because I was building it. I was like, this is a lot of fun. I can see myself going way overboard with this. So
yeah,
dangerous because they can be like $25-$30 a pop.
Yeah,
or more if you want the more intricate stuff.
Well, right, but like the cheaper ones, it's really easy to justify to yourself. Oh, it's only $20, and before you know it, you spent like $80 out of your paycheck on high grade.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I might do like 2 a year or something. That's what I want to manage at right now. I have a feeling that won't hold, but that's the goal we're gonna set, because I don't have room to put them anywhere to.
Just buy shelving.
I know, man.
If you want a dust-free solution, I recommend the Detolf cabinets from IKEA. They're only $60, and they are amazingly nice for that price. And
link me one later.
But
other than that, I got through the main story of Dragon Quest XI. I put a lot of hours in on that game. Once you get all the party members, it really kicks up the story.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I'd stopped, I'd just gotten them all. I think I'd finished the martial arts tournament, and then from there it was I played. Some days I didn't play when I had to do stuff with family, or I hung out with some friends who were in town. few days. But the days where I played like 8 hours every day. So I got some old school, like almost Persona 5 level amount of time put in. I did what Mal recommended for the most part and plowed through a bunch. But towards the end, I spent probably a good few hours grinding, just listening to music and podcasts and stuff while I did it, because I was hunting. I was hunting metal slimes, king metal slimes in the last dungeon. So, it's really good. If I'd played it last year, it probably would have been my favorite game of the year. So, it's really good.
It was up there for me.
Yeah, it's it's special, man. I mean, we talked about this towards the end of last year, but I want Final Fantasy to kind of go back to like the simple gameplay. I don't think it will, but I kind of want it to go back to that simple character-driven gameplay story, like turn-based stuff.
DQ11 was just everything Dragon Quest like brought into the modern age.
Yep.
While still just being 100% Dragon Quest.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's so very much just like the very old games, but at the same time, it does some stuff, some new stuff. So I loved it. I enjoyed it a great deal. And now I just need to finish the post game and not like. I think I'm going to do that since you said it wasn't so long. I think I'll do that this weekend instead of putting time into Nier, and then do Nier and get Nier done by the time Kingdom Hearts comes out.
Oof. I still need to finish Birth by Sleep. I do not like the playstyle.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
I went back to get through it.
I had nostalgia goggles on because I look back on it with such fondness because I liked the story in the game. But when I went back and played it again last year at some point, it does not hold up. So, but let's get on to topics. And Mal is up first, so why don't you go on, Mal? What you got?
Well, one of the things I did since we've been away is I went to the movies. And like I said I was, to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I just want to talk about that.
You're a man of your word.
So much.
Well, everybody seems to love it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's got a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Not bad, huh?
That 3%, get them.
It came out December 14th, and then I didn't get to see it till the next weekend because my roommate was away. It's another Spider-Man movie, which we got a lot of Spider-Man last year.
People love Spider-Man. Who knew?
We got there's Spider-Man in Infinity Wars, and then the Spider-Man game, and then there's Venom, which is tangentially related to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then this to close out the year. But this is definitely different. It's not your typical Spider-Man movie because the main character is Miles Morales, which is it's been around for a while now, actually, in the comic books.
Yeah.
He hasn't showed up in any like MCU stuff.
He's the well-known non-Peter Parker Spider-Man, basically.
Yeah, he was. It's very possible he'll show up in the MCU because in what was it, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Donald Glover's character is his uncle.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he showed up in the Ultimate Universe, which Marvel has a lot of alternate universes that often will intersect with their main one, even, and this one kind of does something similar because you get a whole bunch of different spider people from different universes.
Is that the official term, spider people?
I think there's. So I know there's some spider sonas going, or as a hashtag, I believe, on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can call them spider people if you have spider pig, though, right?
That's
right.
True.
The spider family.
All right, so explain the concept of this, because I actually have only watched like one of the initial trailers for it.
Yeah,
I've kind of stayed away from a lot of the story.
So it's focused on Miles Morales, and he is just he's a kid going. He's attending a school for gifted and rich kids in New York, and in his world there is a Spider-Man, a Peter Parker Spider-Man, who's being a hero and all that. There's Spider-Man merchandise, comics, and all that. And that he's just kind of being a kid, and he ends up getting bitten by a spider. Not the same, a different spider, because he ends up with some slightly different powers. But I don't know how much I want. So I guess light spoilers. I don't know. It's pretty obvious, or it's pretty early. And if you know anything about his actual story from the comics, the Spider-Man of his world ends up dying, and he gets tasked with a mission, basically. And shortly after all of that goes down, he runs into Spider-Man, who's now supposed to be dead. And it turns out he's from another universe. And then shortly after that, he runs into Spider-Gwen, another spider hero. And then 3 more show up. And it's it's an origin story, but it's definitely different than what you've seen before as far as origin stories go, because of all the extra heroes.
Yeah.
It's kind of a slower burn for Miles, but it's helped by the fact that you have all these other heroes.
Who's the villain in it?
Kingpin.
Okay.
Who they actually do a really interesting job of humanizing him. In a way I don't want to spoil, but yeah, it's interesting. It's visually, it's like a comic book has just been animated.
Yeah, that's what I've seen most people.
They really wanted to
complimenting is the animation style.
They wanted to push what they could do, because you can only live action hero movies and stuff don't really get that comic book feel visually, cinematically even. And this looks like it's straight out of comic book pages.
Yeah, I would say the closest to replicating that in live action might be the Watchmen movie.
Yeah,
maybe that's just because it was so close to the graphic novel.
Right. They definitely take inspiration from past Spider-Man movies. They're when they're going over the Peter Parker's backstory, there's some shots that closely mirror the Raimi Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they it's definitely not that Spider-Man, but
yeah,
because he still uses web slingers and stuff. But yeah, they definitely took inspiration from previous Spider-Man movies for their Peter Parker, and they're very self-aware of Spider-Man in current pop culture. Just from some of the things in the movie, this movie doesn't really have. It doesn't. You wouldn't have thought it would have been as great as it was. It's because this is, as I said in Discord before, it's the same studio that did the Emoji Movie.
The same branch of Sony or Sony or whatever.
Yeah, they could have easily have just churned out another Spider-Man movie that people would have gone and seen, and they would have made money because it's Spider-Man. If it was,
it was big enough for a theatrical release. When they first announced it, I thought it was a straight to DVD kind of thing.
Yeah, and the budget was $90 million, and they made so far $2.27 million, or $227 million.
Yeah.
At that point. So they definitely made their money back, and they've already announced 2 more movies, a direct sequel and a spin-off.
Gotcha. Probably one of the other Spider heroes.
I believe the spin-off is going to be Spider-Gwen, and then some other Spider-Woman and Silk, which they a few years ago they did a crossover with those characters, so it might be similar to that storyline. But
I heard the music was good in the movie too.
Yeah,
The
it's
soundtrack.
I've been listening to it pretty nonstop. It's all hip hop and stuff, but it's very like it's the you get the like well in some cases literally it's what Miles is listening to. And honestly, the way they incorporate the music with the movie is like it's so well done. Like the character themes are real great, and like they'll switch up as far as the score is concerned. Even like when Spider Gwen shows up for the first time, it switches to more of a rock aesthetic because she's in a rock band and stuff like that. It's just, and then there's one villain who's I think for a PG movie, he comes across as really like menacing, and half of that's probably just because of his theme is just so good.
Yeah.
And it's a PG movie, but it can be surprisingly like dark at times. Like some of the moments, it's kind of holds like more weight than Homecoming in some ways, even though Homecoming was a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
Also, one of the pluses of this movie is that they, compared to the MCU, is they're not afraid, I guess, to like let emotional moments just kind of hang there, instead of like MCU has the tendencies to immediately undercut like emotional moments with a joke,
which can get it can wear thin sometimes.
Yeah. This one is definitely ends up being a lot more emotional, I think.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Like there was just a lot of love in this movie, I think. I know like it's produced by, and then half of them wrote it is Philip Lord and Christopher Miller, who did 21 Jump Street and the Lego Movie.
I love both those things.
Yeah, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Yeah, it's real good. The writing's really impressive, and at least the three main Spider people or whatever, Miles, Peter Parker, and Spider-Gwen are really well characterized. The other three, because you end up with Spider-Noir, who is from a monochromatic universe, and he's based in the 1930s, voiced by Nicolas Cage.
Really?
Yeah, it's he's played up a lot more campy than in the comics, because in the comics he would just probably shoot Kingpin in the face, because he actually he has a revolver and is not afraid to shoot people, unlike every other Spider hero. But he's kind of more campy in this one. And they have Penny Parker and her mech Spider, which is SP//DR. She comes from a futuristic New York, and she has a telepathic link with the spider that lives inside the robot. And then there's Spider Ham,
the pig.
Yep, he was originally a spider bitten by a radioactive pig.
Okay.
Yep.
I do nothing about the character other than that he was a pig. So
yeah, it was like 80s joke character.
I don't know. Really, 80s?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So those three don't get like there's quite a lot of characters for the movie. And they didn't have the luxury of like the MCU type ones that they all had their own standalone movie to build them up.
Yeah, so it's surprising that it works so well. Probably they can just mash all these characters, and you kind of like have to know a little bit about them. It's probably more a movie for the fans, but
they do a really good job of telling you who they are.
Yeah,
in a very cute way.
It would have to.
Yeah.
For people who don't know who they are, because if it's PG and it's animated, then it's theoretically marketed more towards a younger audience who might not know all like the Spider-Man lore of all the multiple Spider personas and stuff. So I mean, for it to be such a success, it has. That's like one thing it would have to do.
Yeah, I was going into it definitely biased because I love the Spider-Verse storylines in the comics. But it's definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Oh wow!
And I've seen a lot of people say that it beat like the Raimi movies for him and Homecoming.
Well, I love Spider-Man, so I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I might wait till it goes to the cheap theater and watch it.
Man, the visual aesthetics, especially the climax, are just so good. I kind of want this is kind of one of the movies that would be really good to see in 3D also. Like it's kind of insane seeing it in 3D. I've heard because my theater has not got 3D that I go to, but I have seen it twice.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I decided. I just loved it. So I went like last week again. Yeah, it just everything about the movie is done so well, and just it all works together amazingly, and ends on a really cool message.
Does it have a post-credit scene?
Yes, and it's great. It's memey and sets up the next movie, and it's amazing as far as post-credit scenes go.
Oh man. So if you had seen it, would it have been your favorite movie of last year?
I mean, I did see it last year.
I'm saying before. Was that on? Was that your top movie of last year? In the I can't remember if you saw it before.
Oh no, I didn't get to see it. No, I though I did mention it might be my favorite, and I when we were tying up, but I think it is my favorite. It was so fun.
Yeah,
and it's just all done so well, and because I'm big into visuals and audio, like when it can like really just jump out like that, it's kind of like it all kind of ties together along the same lines as Persona 5, honestly. Like stylistically, it's so on point. Like there's no
everything just complements each other,
right? Oh, and like every character, like the characters from their own dimensions have and when it shows their own dimensions has its own animation style. Like Penny Parker with her robot, she looks like she's more done in an anime style, and Spider-Ham looks like he's a cartoon character, like a typical like hand-drawn 2D cartoon character.
Yeah.
And then Noir looks like, he's from a black and white type universe. And they really just kind of knocked it out of the park.
Well, that's good. I may go see that this weekend then, if I'm free. Maybe during the day I could catch it on the matinee price or something.
Yeah.
If it's not it's been out for 3 weeks now, or
since
2?
The 14th.
Okay.
United States total.
I don't think it's quite in cheap theaters yet.
Yeah. It hasn't. It's not. It's still in my local, the one right next to where I live. But yeah, I loved it. It was so good.
It'll have to do you through. It'll have to do you through till Captain Marvel.
Probably, yeah. Miles is he's an interesting character. Like, he's not just a clone of Peter Parker. He has his own family that he loves. Like, he doesn't have at least initially at the start of the movie, there's no like tragic backstory.
Yeah. It's just that I guess Peter dies in his universe, but he doesn't really have a connection to Peter.
Right.
Before that, if I remember correctly. But
I mean, yeah, and it got me to like the most emotional show, I guess, out of like when I see movies is like I'll tear up. Like, it's just because I don't show emotions typically anyway. But It got me to tear up twice.
Oh, there you go.
2 different parts, which Infinity War didn't get me to do.
No, I didn't during that. I don't think I've teared up during any of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're not really supposed to make you do that, obviously.
Right.
So
I mean, yeah, the ending of Infinity War was probably, like, close, but still. It didn't quite get me there.
yeah. We'll have to see if the next one will. If they actually die.
Yeah.
And how.